Here we are, George.
We are here.
Oh, I'm a little cut off.
Are we here? Where's the map? I have to see the map where it says we are here.
I don't know.
I'm never sure.
So thank you for this is like our second one-to-one in 2 weeks.
I can't get enough of you.
Oh, thank you, George.
Everybody should get their fill of Marty.
And you're the first BNI member to be filming in here. That's it. That's it.
Here we are.
Here we are.
It's the jam. Yeah.
And I was going to have a one-to-one with Adira tomorrow. I kind of messed up because I have to be at Kiggins Theater at noon. In fact, what are you doing tomorrow? 2 to 3. Check your schedule, George Castillo.
Yeah, that just has to be sitting next to me because I can't be too far away from it. What's happening tomorrow at 2 to 3?
2 to 3 is the music video I'm filming at Kiggins Theater, and we need 100 extras because Kiggins holds like 330 people.
You get paid in pizza or popcorn?
You get paid with these really cool old school 3D movie glasses and popcorn, and your name in the credits. Yeah, it's gonna be so cool. So
wave.
enough about that. But I'm so happy that you came back here to be able to do this, because this is what I want to be able to do with every member in our chapter, is just come have a one-to-one here, hang out, and I'm just gonna get right into the meat and potatoes, George. Is that okay?
I had lunch, but I'll entertain it. Yes.
Okay.
Jump in.
So when I first met you, which was I think 6 years ago now.
Oh my gosh. You're going into history?
Maybe even longer. And I remember you came up to me and I was like hanging out. I didn't know anybody there. It was kind of like maybe my third kind of networking group. It was like a happy hour thing.
Yeah, yeah.
And you were the coolest one there. And you came up to me, you're like, so tell me about what's a video strategist? And so I was trying to give you my kind of elevator pitch, which was very new. But I did know that I did things differently, or that I was going to be doing things differently than your average, videographer.
It sounded like it.
So anyway, I'm so glad that I met you. And then you've invited me to all these different networking events. I think I subbed for you. You invited me to your old BNI chapter several times.
Yeah.
And yeah.
And they offended you that first time you came?
Did you offend me?
No, the BNI offended you.
No, that was on Zoom. I was like cut off.
No, not the face-to-face.
It was like, say who you are, and that's it.
No, it's true. And because they had changed the rules a little, and they wanted to make it more like you're just an observer.
Right.
But nobody told you, and you came in like ready to say what you should, because you should be able to talk. And now they've gone back.
Right.
But I remember you were like, I don't know, man. This might not be for me.
This is a cult. And I don't play well with
They
cults.
don't respect my business story. I'm out of here.
So, but you've been with OOMA for a long time.
6 years.
6 years. Because you were with OOMA when I met you. So it must have been 6 years ago. So you were fresh. I was fresh. We were just two fresh guys at a happy hour.
Well, no, and I was taken by you guys and your story, and it was such a sweet meeting, and we kept kind of coming back, and I think I remember you saying, like, I've been to like 6 events, and George has been at all of them, and yeah, it's what you do. It's just the funnest part of networking is sharing it. So and then somebody else got you to join BNI.
Well, that was kind of a default of a sub default of a default, because like Steve Kuyat invited me several times too. Yeah. And well, we're not going to name names.
I'm just glad.
We're not going to. You should have got credit.
It's okay.
You should have got credit.
Clearly, I'm not offended.
For all those members in our chapter, it should have been George or Steve. Or I don't want to put Steve down.
It's funny though. I actually did feel like some brotherly jealousy when you came in and you got being a member, and I was looking at you going, but it was me.
But
this is a one-on-one. And we're doing it in your studio.
Yep, this is it.
So,
what do you think of the whole setup? It's kind of cool, right? There's no cables all over the floor. It's all clean and neat and tidy.
Yeah,
If you want,
describing it
you
for
can
the audience. Yes.
you can look up there and see yourself. But normally I wouldn't have that TV on. But I know
Well,
that
kind of.
you're
If I
okay.
look up, I'm sort of concerned about my lighting because you look all well lit.
No, don't worry about your lighting.
I'm like kind of dark. And,
No, you're not. It's because this is a different lens than that one. So don't. And that TV's
because
totally
as an
different.
actor, find your light, right?
Find your light.
Or even on stage, find your light.
Can you see yourself on that monitor?
Sort of, not really.
Yeah, it's going to be
But
better
back
on
to
that
what
one.
you were saying, it's a super cool setup. It
Yeah,
is.
thank you.
Yeah, and I can't hardly hear ain't nobody because of the soundproofing. It's the real deal. Little velvet over here.
Right.
So in our one-on-one, are we gonna talk? Can I just rub on this?
You just rub that wall. Rub that wall,
This
George.
will make me feel much better while we speak.
Or
'Cause I'm
or
super
like
nervous.
a genie
You
will
can't
pop
tell,
up.
but I'm
Yes, George.
you know,
what are your 3 wishes?
so nervous.
You're not nervous.
Oh my God, I'm nervous. I'm always nervous.
No, seriously. Is this weird?
No.
Being able to record like right now with 3 cameras on us? It's not, is it? It's
No.
it's totally natural,
No, I'd almost forgotten until I brought it up again.
right? Yeah. So
Can you
that's
hear
the
that?
goal.
Is this going to be heard on camera?
No, these are really good mics.
Okay. Mics are getting really good. I'm constantly at home on like my noise canceling headset, and then like out the window. And I'm like, oh, I'm so sorry. Like we can't hear anything. Keep talking.
Yeah.
So yeah, noise canceling works. Are we going to do a little bit like the one-on-one BNI stuff, where I ask you about your business, you ask you about mine, and
Yeah. Well, that's what I was getting to before we went off on
touching the wall.
rubbing the wall and talking about no cables on the floor.
That's right.
But we met like 6 years ago when we both were starting, because you were just starting with OOMA. What did you do prior to OOMA?
Great question. Thank you for asking.
Do you want the world to know?
Sure. It's all telecom. I had a few departures, but
Did you work for one of the big ones?
big telecom, or
Like
big gangsters.
AT&T beep.
No,
Oh, okay.
no. This the biggest. Is that my foot?
That's your foot, and right in my camera, right in my framing.
I love it.
It's okay. I'll do it to you.
Yeah, yeah. It's not your foot isn't as big as mine. So, I worked for Integra, which was the largest West Coast provider of fiber, internet, phones, etc. Yeah, it was a pretty cool company for the time that it lasted, and it was around way before me. A lot of people who hear the word Integra, you almost can't ask somebody in Portland, like, were you on it? Like, everybody was on Integra.
Huh.
It was amazing for the run that I think it was like 13 years that they were around. Maybe it had to be more. Anyway, I worked for them, but before that, I had 4 or 5 value-added resellers. I've been in telecom longer than I want to admit.
Oh, wow.
Goes back to the 90s, actually.
Wow.
Actually, if you go back to the beginning,
We're going to like the brick cell phones era?
not quite.
Well, that would have been like 90. Oh, that would have been
No,
93,
it was
92.
I was a kid when I first had one of those in my hand.
Okay.
I was still a kid, not that old. But I sold voicemail before the Baby Bells were selling it in the 90s.
Huh.
I sold Amvox,
Amvox.
which was part of the Amway Corporation.
Wow.
Swear to God. I started in the early 90s, sold like gift cards to my old high school, and was kind of making my way as a young entrepreneur. And then we found this thing got offered, and we got it to a seminar about it. And I asked my upline, may he rest in peace, the amazing Irving Spivak, most wonderful gay Jewish man I've ever met. I said, who can I sell this to? He said, anybody with a phone. Like, okay, I'm in. I can do it.
Anybody with a phone.
Anybody with a phone.
They
And I
need it.
sold voicemail like to people from the payphone at the restaurant that I was working at in the Emporium Capwell in downtown San Francisco.
Huh.
Yeah, I was doing it. So Amway, and then that just slowly, once the phone company started selling voicemail, it got super, like I was selling it for $25 and the phone company was selling it for $5. So, and then I started selling phone systems and got introduced to other great mentors that I had in telecom. But yeah, I've been doing it a long time. So somehow I love it because I still enjoy it. But
But what do you like about OOMA Office? Is it OOMA Office?
yeah,
Is
that's
the actual
exactly
name?
right. No, you're good. You're good because OOMA, when it first started, was OOMA, and the service was a called Tello. It still exists today. It's a residential. It started off as a residential service that replaced. You know when people were shutting down all their home phones in the early 2000s?
Yep.
OOMA was right there, and they captured that because a lot of people shut down their phones at home, but then they said, "Oh, because I got this cell phone. Why do I need this home phone? I'm paying $50 to Comcast for nothing." So then they shut down their home phones, and then they realized, "Oh, wait, I have the kids, I have Granny, I have the teenagers that need a phone. When I take this phone with me, there's no phone at home." So then UMA was at Costco selling unlimited home residential service.
Oh, and providing a phone? Or just the service?
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe. They give you the dial tone, you buy a phone. Oh, actually, yeah. No, and actually you could
They
use
give you the dial tone, they buy you a phone.
You could reuse.
That's a catch. I'm sorry.
It's okay. I'm just trying not to smack your mic here with my hand gestures. They gave you an analog dial tone through the internet. So they gave you a box, and you could just plug in your old phone to it, and it worked.
VoIP.
And it was, yeah. Anyway, and they just ruled that industry for years because they were just perfectly timed. And then once they were, they went public. They had no debt in the bank. They said, "How are we going to grow this thing?" And somebody said, "We take care of the smallest customers in the world, residential. Let's take care of small business better than anybody else because all the other companies are not taking care of them." And it's true. Everybody, like Integra, the company I was talking about earlier, they started off with taking care of small business. Then they grew and started saying, "Oh, no, we don't want those 10-seat customers anymore. Let's go to the 20, the 50, the 100. And then they sold off all their small customers. So it's a trend. It happens a lot in telecom. But UMA has stayed. So when I got hired in, it was about, hey, you want to work for this company? You're going to go door to door and sell small business, like liquor stores and restaurants and, small doctor's offices. And I'd never done door to door. Like a lot of people did that. I never did that. I'd always worked in corporate. And so that's what I did. I actually started managing a team, learned how to hire people, did that for a year. That didn't, people are messy. No offense, people. So I did my management thing, and then they asked me.
People are messy.
They are.
Yeah.
Like messy. And anyway, went back to the selling direct myself, and I've been, to answer your question, UMA is great. What I like about them is that they've got integrity in an industry which, they've got their problems, and it's so complex you can't not have challenges. But they truly, more than any company I've ever worked with, do what they say they're going to do, and that's take care of their customers. So yeah, I'm doing okay, and now I'm in a new department. And
yeah, what's your new role?
The new role is I'm doing all the same things I did before. I'm just selling through partners and resellers or my network because I was already doing that. I was already selling like you folks were my network. I mean, in 2020. Which was one of my best years, right? When everybody was just
locked up.
Yeah. Between BNI, this group, and all of my other network, 60% of my sales came from BNI
That's
year.
Amazing. That's a good plug for BNI right there, George. Look into your camera and tell the people how awesome BNI is.
BNI is so awesome. They still have me, and they got this guy. And he came in thinking it was a cult, and now he knows it's the best cult.
I'm going to
stand up and do the thing when we have the new, we do the reciting of the
that's still a little weird
commandments
for me.
of BNI.
It's still a little weird for me. I prefer to just kind of. I always want to put my hand on my heart for some reason, but I'm like, oh wait, I don't have to do that or this or is there a secret BNI handshake code? There should be.
We should make it up.
We should make one up.
We'll work that out. So anyway, yeah, I do like, and this new department is kind of reviving, because all the network that I've built, now I'm going to them and saying, hey, you want to be a partner? We'll pay you for those referrals, and that's my job.
Oh yeah, that's really cool.
IT companies, I'll probably sign you up before I leave here.
Today?
Yeah.
Oh wow.
I need 5 more.
5 more by the end of the day.
Yeah.
Nuh-uh.
I kind of do, yeah.
You need 5 before 5? 5 before 5, people. If I can get this out right after this meeting, then we'll just put it out there.
We'll put it out there.
Maybe I'll just edit this part really quick and say, hey, George Castillo from OOMA Office. I'm going to say OOMA Office.
Please, because I try to say that.
George Castillo from OOMA Office has to sign up 5 people before 5 p.m. today. So after this meeting, I've got like 3 minutes to edit the quick video, make it a quick social with captions, and bam, we're done. And maybe that'll get you something in the last half hour.
That's the power.
That's the power
of video.
Yes, the power of video.
Mr. Triple M Productions, as I think Paul Kuthi has coined.
Yeah, he's put the in video.
In Triple M. You're an interesting kind of guy.
Yeah.
Because you transitioned from being a on-stage musician, touring, being paid, like doing that rock and roll thing. Were you interested in video even then? No.
No. And well, when we signed with Sony, they gave us all like high 8 video cameras. And I remember on tour, I would take that. I still have it, but it broke. So I had to buy like another high 8 to be able to, view the tapes and stuff that I ever recorded stuff on. But I would take that. I keep it off stage, and then right when we get done with our set, I would grab it and run out, and I'd film the audience, and I'd just be like, "Come on, give me some love," and people just like, "Yeah."
After you performed.
After we got done, performing.
That's kind of cool. Do you still have any of that video?
Yes, I do. I one day I will pull those out of the archive and recirculate. We'll see what happens. But I went from music to almost up until I moved to Beaverton in like 2010, 2011, and I was there for a year.
From where? Seattle?
From Seattle. And I was just following my son around because my ex-wife had moved to Oregon City, so I moved to Beaverton, opened a cafe. Well, I kind of left out about 4 years in there, but opened a cafe for a guy up in Beaverton. My ex-wife bought a house in Vancouver. I moved here, and then she moved back to Oregon City, but I stayed.
Got it.
And so when I stayed here, I actually worked for Evergreen School District driving a school bus.
Yes.
So I went from rock star to school bus driver. What's the guy's name on The Simpsons, the bus driver?
Oh, God.
He's like the cool dude, man. He's like the cool bus driver. Anyway.
That was you.
I loved it. I love kids. And, maybe when I retire from this, I'll go back to driving once in a while. I don't know. But I didn't have a creative outlet. And so I didn't start messing around with video until I reconnected with Mickey, my wife.
Oh, really?
And so that was 10 years ago, and she has always been in the water business since I've reconnected with her. And I started just playing around making like marketing videos for her and her business.
Mm-hmm.
And I loved it. I was like, oh, man, this is like this editing. What is this? It's like a drug.
It's fun.
I mean, you have to have a mindset for it because some people are like, I don't have the patience. But once you really start getting into it, it's like you're a painter with a paintbrush, and you're just working that canvas, and whatever you mess up on shooting, you hope maybe you can fix it in post. I don't know, but so that's what started me on this journey.
Interesting.
Yeah, and Triple M Production actually is our business because it was Mickey and Marty Meisner. Thus the 3 M's.
Yes.
I
think we get that. I don't know if people don't get
I don't
that.
think people get it. They're like, what does that mean? It's like, well, Marty. People still call me Mickey, her Marty. Anyway, that's enough about me. I love what I do, and I'm able to work with different people in the community and help people and their business grow and work events and do all kinds of fun stuff.
Well, but getting back to the BNI infusion, tell me if I'm wrong, but I get the feeling that you're going in, I think you're like a year and a half into BNI, something like that.
Yeah, well, June, I think I joined in June, and I renewed this last June. So
Okay.
this is
Okay.
like, yeah,
You're in.
maybe it's, no, this is my second year.
So, how much do you attribute to BNI? Because you're damn busy right now. It's wonderfully busy. I'm totally excited hearing all the different stories, especially when they pay you.
Right.
Names will not be.
Hey, speaking of not getting paid, I just had this wonderful woman call this morning. And Olga, if you're watching, which I'm sure you're not, but she was proposed to this weekend. And somebody took the video of it on their phone, and you can barely hear her fiance proposing, but you hear a dog barking like crazy, right? So it's like,
so sweet. I know.
And she's like, oh no, and it's a ruff, ruff, ruff.
So it's just the audio, or it's a video?
No, it's video, but the audio's horrendous with the dog barking the whole time he's proposing to her. So I don't even know what to charge for that. So
she called you and she said, "Could you edit this for me?"
Can you take a dog bark out?
Just the dog, or the dog is the
dog barking.
That's going to be a huge challenge because now you're.
But see, I know an audio guy. That's the cool thing about being able to network, and some of the groups that I've joined that are, creatives that have production companies and media companies like what I do, and people that specialize in audio and people that specialize in coloring. They're called colorists, and I hired a colorist 3 weeks ago to work on a project that I have, because he is an expert in coloring and color grading. And to me, I'd spend 6.5 hours and I wouldn't get anywhere, and he can do it in a matter of, like magic. Anyway, so back to doing.
But so my question is, how much can you attribute your current busyness to BNI for the last, 15, 16 months? Well, have you even stopped to think about it? Have you been able to stop?
It's probably been at least 50% of my business since joining. And I mean, I'll just share this. My first referral in BNI, it was like literally, I think the week after I became a member.
I think I remember you telling me, yeah.
My first referral, I mean, it was a big one, $16,000.
Yeah, that's about.
So BNI costs what, $1,000, a little over $1,000 now, I think, a year. And so that was what's that, a
16-year
1,600% return?
Yeah.
Or something like that.
160%.
I don't math very well. 160% return. How awesome is that, right? You learn a lot and you grow a lot, and you learn how to communicate better with people, and you learn how to hone your skills to just be a better person and be accountable. That's the main thing about BNI for me, was the accountability and trust. That gains trust. And when you have accountability and trust and a group of people that meet every single week and have their businesses that you're wanting to grow, you basically hired, our group's what, 36, 37 members?
36.
You have 36 salespeople working for you.
It's a beautiful. There's a new video out. Did I shared it?
Yeah, that was great.
From Sydney. Yeah, the executive director. I think it might be a couple years old, but
I think I need a little.
But it is exactly. I mean, there's a couple of simple ways to talk about how BNI works, because sometimes you can start talking about BNI to somebody and overdo it. But having everyone be your salesperson is one way of putting it, and I'm excited to hear that it's been that successful. You said earlier, it's not for everybody, and it's funny because in my mind I went back and forth like, isn't it for everybody? Is it for everybody? Isn't it for everybody? And I'm going to settle on, because I'm doing I'm actually a launch coach right now. I've told you this. Did you? That's actually the title.
That's the title. Yeah, so, I didn't know it came with it. I didn't know it came with that title, George.
All good things come with titles. But yeah, because we have a chapter success coach,
Mm-hmm.
and I thought about doing that, and then that fact is it all connected because the chapter I was going to coach, and I said, okay, there's only 4 people, 6 people, I'll take them on, and I was ready to like, I don't, you know, I had a whole plan of how we were gonna. If you don't want to be in this, get out, take your credit. I don't care if I have 2 people. We're gonna build. We're gonna build with the right 2 people. And then they just dissolved. They couldn't.
Nuh-uh.
Yeah, they dissolved. It was like the day after or the day before. I called. I said Anna Rivers. I said, hey, I'll do it. Like, no, too late. They can't do it anymore. But that led to the idea like there should be a group because there's no BNI.
Is that going to work though? That's going to work. You're still doing the group up north.
Oh, still doing it.
Yeah, that's good.
But it's interesting what I've learned, right? The whole idea of building a group is an enormous education on what it takes to do BNI from the beginnings and who's it for and who's it's not and how they respond. And ultimately, what I've gotten, and this is not going to be any surprise, but it just reinforced it, that you can go do lots of networking, and they won't ask a lot of you. You show up when you want, or not show up. Be on time, don't be on time. But how much are you really going to get back from it? And you meet certain people that just say like, oh, because I talk about the structure,
Mm-hmm.
and like, I want it. That's. I don't like it all the time, but it's going to make this successful because without it, you don't have a house.
Well, see, that's
Wow, I've never put it that way.
Without it, you don't have a house. Without structure, you don't have a house.
Can't have a house.
Unless it's a yurt. No, that's even structured. My point about it's not for everybody is because I know business owners that are solopreneurs and they're so caught up in the grind. Like, I don't have time for it. I don't have time to network.
Mm-hmm.
And they think, oh, I don't have $1,000 to put into it because then I need to work on I need 4 new clients or whatever it is, whatever
Sure.
the cost acquisition of a client is to them.
Mm-hmm.
But I think those people have this mentality that they need to work more to make more, and they don't understand the value of 36 other salespeople working for you. Now, if that happens and you change your mindset that way, you come into BNI and then you have your sales staff, your referral team, your amazing partners in BNI working with you to help your business grow. That's a good problem to have because now when you go back out working your jobs and your clients and everything, and now you're getting more clients, that means that you can build your business, whether that's hire somebody else or whatever that is. But they don't have the mentality of scaling.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Oh,
so
yeah.
that's where, because I've had several people that have that mentality, and it's really difficult for them to even get it. Like, I just don't get it.
And I tell the launch members of the North County Diamond Group coming to Ridgefield and the surrounding 15 miles soon.
Shine bright like a diamond.
Can we have that as our fade out music from this?
Yeah.
I know.
That'd
That's
be
why
great.
I put my pitch in. That they can talk to people, and they're all, because it's tough, like getting people to join. Just like you were saying, it's awkward sometimes. You're like, are you selling them and whatnot? And I tell people, I say, you know what? You don't have to be an expert on BNI to share BNI. If you're in BNI, you're in there for a reason, whatever it is, and it's going to be different. You're going to be a novice. You're going to be, an expert. Say, in comparison, let's call it savvy to novice networker. And all you have to do is tell people, I'm in it for this, and this is what I get from it. And people will they'll get your passion, and they'll feel it or they won't for them. And I think it's actually really great. Just like in sales, if somebody says to you, no, that's not for me. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
I get it. And then you just move on, because it isn't for everybody, and you want to just talk to the people who get it will get it. And it's kind of fun or interesting because in a launching group, you don't have a group, because really you just have to get them to, if somebody comes to our Vancouver BNI, they'll see it, they'll feel it, and that's it. It sells itself. But when you're launching, they don't even meet. There's no meetings until you actually get to 25 people. So we have to get about 8 more. But it really has. I'm not trying to just pitch on this video like to get new members. It's just interesting because the idea has been reinforced now. The idea of what makes BNI, when you can't even go to the BNI meeting.
Sure.
You have to really realize, like, why is this interesting, and what are we going to get from this? And I'll just say this: I look at 20-year members like Wayne Rivers.
Yeah.
Right.
It's amazing.
I mean, how much money has he helped people make, and how much has he made?
Wayne, you're a rock star.
And all the other ones, Paul and
Oh yeah,
and Jody and all the tenured folks. But it's $1,000 is going to get paid back
right
every year, like so tenfold.
Yeah, you put it on a credit card, and then if you make that back your first month, just pay it off.
It really tickles me how you and Mickey ended up, especially when I was, I invited you and everybody. No speaking. You just watch.
just
watch
watch.
People, George. I don't know that it's for me, but that you actually, it ended up being something that you were able to find value in, and I get to see you all the time.
That's right. Yeah, that's really cool. We're gonna have to wrap this up because otherwise,
notice how I was kind of taking it there. You see that?
Yeah, I totally noticed that. That's why I even said it.
I actually, one thing I'll finish with is that from a kid, I watched all the talk show hosts.
Phil Donahue.
Merv Griffin.
Yeah.
Mike Douglas. Dinah Shore. And there's still one in me.
Sally Jesse Raphael.
I've always seen myself. I wanted to have my own talk show. So that might be something I still have to.
Yeah, you can. Look,
maybe it's
got a space right here, man.
Podcast.
Well, podcast. Oh, talk show with a huge audience, like an audience, because that's coming, my friend. My media company is going to have that soon.
Nice.
Yeah, well, big stage.
Yeah. We'll have to talk about some extras.
Super secret.
But secret. Talk show host.
Right now it's just cozy.
Yeah. I'll let you finish wrapping up, though.
Thank you all for watching, and thank you, George, for being the first one-to-one BNI one-to-one meeting.
I am not worthy.
You are so worthy, my friend. In fact, he actually is an actor. He's been in Grimm. What other shows have you been in?
Oh, I can't even remember them now.
Right? See, he's that thespian, my friends. Anyway, thank you so much. This is something I want to be able to do on a weekly basis and be able to post this to our BNI public group and the private group. And maybe, if I talk to Anna Rivers, maybe we'll be allowed to start a Vancouver Chapter YouTube channel. That would be cool, right? And it's just all about basically promoting one another, lifting each other up, and being able to talk about certain things of our business that you probably didn't even know about. And you probably didn't know that George was in Grimm. I'll even post a little screenshot.
Oh, my gosh.
Anyway, thank you so much. Thank you, George. And we'll do this again.
Mr. Marty Meisner of Triple M.
Thank you very much.
Mickey Marty Meisner Productions.
Yes, right? And George OOMA Puma right here. That's right. Cool. Thank you, my friend.
Thank you, brother.